5.5 years flew quickly for the president who has led this nation over the hurdles of political, economic, and social transformation. Within that crucial period, Fidel Ramos revealed himself to be a man who kept stride with the demands of an ever-changing global landscape. President Ramos proved himself to be a leader whose heart is in the right place. He is a soldier who sought to unify the country by extending the hand of peace, but waged an all-out war against the ills that plagued our economy. Ramos reinvented politics in the way he reached out to all sectors through consultation, but reserved the ultimate decision to himself. In the face of crisis and challenges that defy even Solomonic wisdom, his is a leadership that kept afloat by true grit. Good evening, I'm Loren Legarda, and tonight, as we again face a crossroad in our destiny as a nation, we bring you face to face with President Fidel V. Ramos. First of all, Mr. President, thank you very much for your time. As you leave for the APEC Summit, I know you're very, very busy, so I'd like to thank you for sharing some time with us. Political scientists have taken notice, Mr. President, of your trend-setting style of reinventing politics, especially with the Lakas consultations, wherein you veered away from a traditional convention type, which could prove to be very expensive and divisive, and instead tried this consultation process. Do you think this would really work, Mr. President?
Well, first of all, let me thank you, Loren, for guesting me on your special and very popular show. But to answer your first question, let me say that we're not really trying to reinvent politics in the Philippines. We're just trying to get everybody to accept that a new political culture must be put on the ground for the welfare of our people and also for our national interest, knowing how rambunctious and, as you said, divisive sometimes Philippine politics can be.
Yes.
So what we tried to do during last Sunday's Lakas consultation process, starting with the upper half of the national leadership, and we will do another one this Sunday for the municipal mayors, and there are 1,600 of them coming, is to put everybody on the same foundation of, first of all, poverty alleviation, the wise and efficient use of public resources in the hands of those that are elected national officials and local government officials. Thirdly, to make sure that as we acquire economic momentum, that the social reforms are also being done so that no segment, especially the disadvantaged sectors of Philippine society, are left behind. Next is we must now prepare ourselves for the competitive world of the 21st century. And this has to do with, again, maintaining our political stability, enhancing our condition of peace and order, and create mechanisms for unity, solidarity, and teamwork, regardless of political affiliation, because we must be seen as a team Philippines.
In the midst of this consultation process, Mr. President, somehow there have been allegations of alleged cheating and vote buying being traded by both the Venecia and the Villa camps, which, however, have been unsubstantiated. What do you feel about these developments?
Well, being unsubstantiated is correct as of now, but we are conducting an inquiry into this matter. I didn't see any cheating because that was all well watched by all interested parties, and there were enough safeguards to prevent that. But as far as the influencing of the opinions or possible votes, choices of the delegates, well, we have to look into that really, because it's not just what may have happened in the Hotel Intercon where this was held, but what may have happened in other places before. And we are very sincere about this.
Mr. President, how will you make sure or ensure that the Lakas party will not go the way of other party monoliths before, like the LDP or the KBL, that it will not just disintegrate even after you've chosen the standard bearer?
Well, we are bound by a common philosophy of governance and Philippine democracy, which we have defined and to which we have all committed ourselves, meaning the leadership as well as all other members of the party, which have to do with three important principles. First of all, the empowerment of the people. And this is not just on the political side, which already is happening anyway. And we probably have one of the most empowered politically societies in the world. But we still have to do the economic empowerment and the social empowerment of our people. And that we are working on very, very religiously. Second is the subsidiarity or the devolution of power, political power, economic power, cultural power, and social power to all components of our society. We are well into this by virtue of the local government code passed during the time of my distinguished predecessor, President Ramos, but which came quite late. And so it really fell upon the Ramos administration to make this happen. But beyond just devolution, we are really implementing the 5 Ds of this administration. Devolution, decentralization, meaning spread out the benefits, the goodies, the opportunities. Then deregulation, open up the economy, not just by creating opportunities for the private sector to come in more effectively, but also to dismantle cartels and monopolies and oligarchies by getting everybody through deregulation to have a chance to have a piece of the pie. Then there is the democratization of wealth. Because those that have wealth have the important responsibility to help distribute wealth, even if it is not just their wealth, but also the wealth of the economy. And lastly, development, which must be sustainable. We do not want any boom and bust cycles to be happening. We don't want developments on the political side to just fragment and disappear after one set of leaders have bowed out of office. We want this to continue because, again, the name of the game out there is globalization, which is intensely competitive, and all national societies are going to be judged by the quality of their development.
How do you assure the continuity of all these economic programs, which I'd like to focus on? How will you make sure that the anointed one will continue with these programs? What kind of qualities would there be in the man whom you will endorse or anoint?
Man or woman?
Man or woman, okay.
Anyway, it starts again with what we try to do in this administration since day one. And that is that whatever policies we come up with must, first of all, be based in the law. And therefore, whoever sits here in this chair of president must implement the laws until those laws are amended, modified, revised, repealed, or replaced by Congress. So there is a very strong element of continuity there. Now, for my part, as president, I have been very, very accessible to leaders, regardless of their political affiliations. I also see myself as president precisely as a coach or a trainer of those that want to occupy this position or other positions of high responsibility in our government. So that kind of a value added I'm trying to pass on to as many people as possible, regardless of where they are now, regardless of what they believe in or what they support as their own political philosophies.
Mr. President, you've been keeping the results of last Sunday's consultation very close to your chest, but there have been many speculations on who they anointed it based on what they saw was your body language, that you were clapping or smiling in apparent preference for one candidate, and they say it could be Secretary De Villa. Is this true?
Well, of course, you must not only read my eyes and read my lips, you must also read my hips, no? Because this might indicate to me, as well as to the others, what could be the reactions of people who are in a position to assume responsibility of the highest kind under periods of great stress or under tremendous pressure, which is the bread and butter of this office. Now, fortunately, during my public career, I've been exposed to that sort of thing in many, many situations. And so my being a little playful sometimes with the aspirants is precisely to evoke the body language from them. I do the body language, but they also react to the certain body language, and that is also a learning experience for me. Now, as to who is where or who is what, I think that this is still to be determined.
Mr. President, the so-called RX factor, or the much coveted presidential endorsement, is said to be as much or as high as 30% or more. Is this what gives you the confidence that whoever you will endorse will make it to the polls despite the apparent poor ratings in the surveys?
Well, the RX factor is something that has come out of media. I see that as a doctor's prescription, no? Which is what RX really means.
Yes.
Now, but it is not just my endorsement for anyone that will really count. I think the bigger portion of our confidence arises out of the record of this administration, where even the most remote communities somehow, and the most disadvantaged sectors of our society somehow, have been reached and then benefited by the policies, programs, and projects of this administration. And there's a big body of them out there that are in the undecided component right now of any number of surveys. But we are counting on the fact that they will decide on the basis of was their quality of life improved somehow during this administration. And that could be a very big factor.
Mr. President, with so many presidential aspirants, don't you sometimes feel that whoever gets elected may not have the mandate of the people, and that the people might be so divided?
Well, in the case of 1992, and I show my own experience,
Yes.
there were 7 of us, and of course the winner, yours truly, did not have a majority of the votes cast. I had 24%, and the nearest one had 20%. Representing a vote difference of 874,000 plus, which is pretty substantial. And so I sought immediately on day one of my administration a new mandate from the people through the representatives elected into office. And we were able, therefore, to create a rainbow coalition in the House of Representatives, plus a sort of a working partnership with the opposition in the Senate to agree on a common legislative agenda, 1 year at a time, but which I expressed very clearly every time I addressed the joint session of Congress. And so with this kind of a technique, we were able to gather a majority of the leaders to agree on the directions and then especially the goals of this administration. And it has worked out that way. It is unprecedented that in the 9th and 10th Congress, 165 new reform structural landmark bills have been passed. So with that kind of unified attitude and daily working, I think that we could see continuity in the next administration. From here to there, and then within the next administration.
Up next, the secrets to raising a tiger cub, even in the midst of a regional crisis.